Hi, I'm Dr. Randy Case, and welcome to the next installment of our Powerful Women series. Today, I have a very special guest. She is Dr. Jean Merrill. She is a scientist, a teacher, a student, an artist, a traveler, a musician, and a dancer. So we're going to spend the next little while learning about her and learning why she is powerful and all of the magical things that she's done. So, Jean, you are a Massachusetts girl at heart, right?
Yes, I am.
But your family originally came from England.
They did in 1635. They came over on the boat called the Hector, and because the family stayed in the Boston area, I was able to trace back my heritage to a little village near Ipswich, which is just northeast of London, and I'm going to go visit that little village.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, growing up in Boston, you went to Smith College.
I did.
And studied biology there.
I did. And that was actually back in the days when women weren't going into science. I think maybe one woman in my class went to medical school.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a degree in biological sciences, and then I did some research and thought about what I wanted to do next. And I decided I didn't want to just work in a lab, I wanted to run a lab. So I went back and got a PhD in immunology at UCLA.
Yes, so you went to UCLA, but you didn't start off with a degree in immunology. You wanted to do marine biology.
I did. And I went to UCLA because there was a professor there, Bill Hildeman. When I was at Yale, one of my colleagues said, there's a really interesting area in immunology called the phylogeny of the immune response, where you study the origins of the immune response. And I thought, that's great. I like to sail, I like to scuba dive, I'll be out on a boat all day. So, and I went out in California. I won't have to be in a lab. The lab will be the boat. So I went out to UCLA, and as chance would happen, he got a position in Hawaii and said you could come and get your degree in Hawaii. And several of his postdocs said to me, don't go to Hawaii, stay in the United States proper, where you will meet more scientists and be exposed to more people in the area of your interest and make connections that'll be important for furthering your career after you graduate with your PhD. So I didn't go to Hawaii, and I switched from looking at invertebrate immunology to actually studying mammals and getting into human disease, which was where my career ended up.
Yeah, so we were talking before, and you mentioned the importance of having a mentor.
Yes.
And having people to give you good advice, tell you what's not good advice, but really guide you.
And listening to them.
Is always important.
Eventually, I think mentors change in your lifetime, in my lifetime, in my career, with what kind of input they give you. And part of what you learn from having a mentor is to begin to listen to your own inner voice. So for my students, many of whom were women, I had many Smith students come and work in my lab at UCLA. I always tell them, the mentor's there to provide you with kind of a pathway to understanding how to make your own decisions. But clearly early on, you can get good advice. And so I had good advice not going to Hawaii, and I had good advice when I decided not to go to work on an autoimmune disease with a professor in Norway and wound up at the Karolinska Institute studying a disease which I've studied the rest of my career, which is multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
So those were two occasions when I had mentors who said, or people who gave me advice, people I trusted, and I followed their advice, and I'm so happy I did.
Yes, yes.